I left the farm, I cried like crazy because it was all I knew, and I'm glad that I was raised that way.
Not exactly a common thing to hear from big, burly college football coaches, but the more time you spend with Bret Bielema, the more you understand he does not hide his feelings, even if that means crying. When he's sad, you'll know it. When he's mad, you'll know it. And it's his life experiences that have molded him into such an emotional man.
I have learned this in coaching. If you try to hold something back, it's going to come out in times when you don't want it to. I learned that in coaching early on, that I was coaching a young linebacker who really had me frustrated, and I kind of kept it in, and then it came out in the heat of the game, and it was not the place for it to happen. And I learned that whatever you feel, and let it out. Whether it's right, wrong, or different, whether you look soft or not, it's part of being true. So I think, I always wear my emotions on my sleeve, and our kids will know it.
Would you call yourself a crier?
I don't know if I'm a crier, but I definitely let my emotions out. I think it makes you be real, and makes you be part of who you are.
We don't dare sit by each other at a funeral. We better get a non-crier in between us.
Unfortunately, in my life, I've had a lot of success, but I've also had a lot of heartbreak, and I don't want to disrespect the things that have given me those.
Growing up on a hog farm, Bret Bielema first encountered tragedy at a very young age.
I think one of the best things that the children learned was the circle of life.
Life and death. You experience that with the farrowing operation and stuff. Little pigs that aren't healthy when they're born, and so on and so forth, too small. And so it just prepares you for the real world.
As a teenager, Bret's life came to a halt when his older brother Barry suffered a serious back injury in a car accident. With his parents away at a hospital in Chicago, Bret found solace in the local priest.
Pastor Dan Swinson, who's from our Methodist church, we'd been right down the road next to this Methodist church, and we'd gone. We were church-going people, but all of a sudden Pastor Swinson started coming by and making sure we were all right, and going to services, and he captured me in a way that I had never been captured before.
Bret was ready to confirm the kind of adult he was going to be. Bret cares deeply. He cares deeply about what he does. He cares deeply about who he is, and he cares deeply about, family.
In come this pastor and introduced himself. We didn't know him or anything, and it was something special at that time to us, and so everything got squared away, and Barry come back while we started going to church here then. Been in this church ever since.
My brother got healthy, and everything was starting to move in the right direction. I remember going to church on Sunday, and he began to give a sermon. I lost it, started crying, got up and had to leave church, and I think my dad came out to get me, or maybe my brother, and they're like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "He's leaving. He's giving a sermon that he's leaving." I remember I heard it before anybody else in the whole church, because I connected with him.
Pastor Swinson moved on to another parish, but this wouldn't be the end of their relationship.
I probably hadn't seen him in 3 or 4 years, and I turned around amongst hundreds of people. He's standing there to give me a big hug and wish me luck, and he'd come back just for our graduation.
It just felt right to come back, to still be a friend, to still say it was important that I was able to share part of your life. It was important to me and important to you.
A celebratory reconnection, then another parting of ways. But little did Bret know he would soon need Pastor Swinson more than ever.
My second year of college, I lost my sister in a pretty bad deal, and he was there once again, so that was he taught me some things when I lost my sister that have been huge for me as a head coach, because I've had kids lose brothers, sisters, and one of the things he always used to say is, remember what was great about your sister. And whenever you see that or hear that, and my sister loved to make cinnamon rolls. So anytime I go by a Cinnabon in the airport, whoever I'm traveling with, I always tell them about my sister. And it's a great way to remember her to this day, because I'm in airports a lot, and there's a lot of Cinnabons out there.
One of the things that I've always enjoyed in following Bret's career is the way that he puts the career in perspective. He's part of a process.
I think that's one thing that he can understand when players or friends lose loved ones. He's been through it quite a few times, and he can talk to them and say, if you need to talk, just come in and let me listen to you. And I know he's done that with several.
Those are the things that really, truly stick in your mind.
Betsy Bielema passed away after being thrown from a horse in 1990. She was 27 years old. We've got a lot more to come, so stay with us.